Hello there, students. Just taking a look today to see if disease can change the world. We have an inquiry going here on the Black Death. And the first thing that you will have to do is go to one of the slides that has the link right here, and it says for this inquiry, click on the link to get your copy of the slide presentation, Black Death. Put it in your social studies folder. So after you click on that link, you will get a slide presentation. It will ask you if you want to make a copy. Again, make that copy and put it in your social studies folder. And actually, there is one other copy you'll have to make. While you're here and making copies, go to slide 10. And there is a link right here. It says click on the link below to get your copy of the Black Death Student Notebook. Put it in your social studies folder also. And below it says write or record a description of the Black Death that includes its symptoms. And that's actually your first task that you're going to be doing, because the very first one is done for you. We have the two learning targets here. I can describe the Black Death and I can list the symptoms of the Black Death. After you click on that link, you will get a notebook like this. It's going to ask you if you want to make a copy. Go ahead and make that copy, and you'll see the learning targets are also listed there. I can describe the Black Death. I can list the symptoms of the Black Death. I can describe where the outbreak occurred in Europe. I can illustrate how the Black Death was transmitted from animal to person as well as person to person. And for the last task, I can label and illustrate how the Black Death affected different groups of people in the 14th century. So let's go back to the slide presentation. And there's our first slide, Black Death, Can Disease Change the World? The second slide lists all of the learning targets. And for the first portion, you're dealing with the first two learning targets. I can describe the Black Death, and I can list the symptoms of the Black Death. We actually have some sources here for you. One of them is by Boccaccio, and it talks about the conditions during the Black Death. And then there's a map which illustrates the movements of the Black Death and dates that go with it. Slide number 5 is the sample that we've given you. We have found some information from our two sources and listed it here with questions that might go along with it. What might be the most shocking things that I might see? What would have been some of the hardest things to endure? What questions do I have? And you can see on the left-hand side here, we put down information and then listed Boccaccio for the first three as the source. And when all was done, as far as collecting our information, we went to our student notebook and actually typed one paragraph here about the Black Death. What is the Black Death? So that was the first task. As you go to slides 7 through 10, again, that's slides 7 through 10. Actually, 7 through 9 are the three that you're using. Slide 10 has the task there. I can list the symptoms of the Black Death. And if we go to our student inquiry notebook and scroll down, there is another table very similar to the first one, and goodness gracious, this one's filled in for you already. Take a look at the symptoms here, and then you would write a paragraph. And we had worked together on this first one in class. Some other things that you may want to list with the Black Death are the fact that there are three types, and let's see here, the bubonic highlighted in the yellow here, and the pneumonic highlighted in the yellow, and you can read that over. And then there's also the septicemic, all three related and just three different forms there. So this slide here, or this portion here, you can take a look at it again and read that. So your first task again is to go to your student notebook and then write your paragraph here, similar to the first one that was provided for you. The next task, how did the Black Death spread so quickly? I can describe where the outbreak occurred in Europe. I can illustrate how the Black Death was transmitted from animal to person and perhaps person to person. And you have many choices here. But again, using the slides 11 through 15 in the slide presentation, that is where the sources were. We had some more writing there by Boccaccio. There's a painting from the era, and there's a video here. Whoops, I'm on the wrong ones there. That was for the first task. We have a cycle shown there. We have more of the video. We have some documents here from the World Health Organization, and some photos, maps, and images of medieval cities. So actually slides 11 through 15 will give you the information for what is found in task number 2 on slide number 16. And something that we're looking for here is a drawing which is illustrated and annotated, giving some information about the drawing that you make, and it would look something like this. Excuse me, losing my voice here. It's getting late in the day. And let's go back to the slide presentation again. Then we have slides 17 through 22. We see some graphs there, some pictures with information about the Jews. We have some text by Leonard Khoury and more of the video. Those are your sources. And we get to the last slide here. It says, create an annotated illustration depicting how the Black Death affected different groups of people in the 14th century and how it changed society. So your task is, again, similar to number 2. And we would be looking for some type of drawing there, which gives information about the Black Death. And here are a few hints that go with that. Student task 3, Jews were killed. Why? Populations decreased. Priests died. Why? Skilled workers died. More jobs were available for serfs. Wages for peasants went up. The feudal system began to collapse. Those are all things that you could look at when you're presenting that third task that you have to take care of. So that is the inquiry that we're looking at here, and it's practice for a future inquiry. And again, on that third task, there is another area I forgot to mention where you would fill out your notes. Try to get 5 or 6 items there and list the sources also. So have fun with your inquiry. Take care.